Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Elmo,
I'm Tuna.
and this week we're going to be talking about the games in Gameweek 11. 4:30 on Sunday, we saw Tottenham 2, Arsenal 0.
We did. I bet you can't guess who scored and assisted. It was Son and Kane, both scoring and assisting for each other. Them two, yet again. um, it's just deformed. Both of them are in this season. Insane.
Whatever's Moyes done, it looks like Moyes has kind of like made
Mourinho.
Kane Mourinho. Um,
Why used to be so lucky?
both ex-United managers that I hate. It's like Mourinho's kind of asked Kane to just like drop back a bit and play behind Son, and gave Son the freedom to go up front, and it's working. You know, they're both getting the goals and they're both getting the assists.
Yeah, definitely. And, well, what a goal to open this game from Son.
It is unreal.
It really is. And he is playing with someone with immense confidence. And it really does show a great ball from Harry Kane, who was in a little bit of a tough position in centre circle, and just defenders backing off Son, and then 25 yards out, just curls one into the top corner. Sublime.
I think the thing with Tottenham at the moment is there's just so much confidence buzzing around them at the moment, and it'll definitely have helped as well. This was the first North London derby with fans in the new Tottenham Stadium.
Yeah, interesting thing that I also found out as well during the game was the last 3 games that Tottenham had played in front of fans, they'd lost. So it's a long time to try and right that. But right it they did, and if there's any sort of game you want fans in for, it's a derby game. And
Yeah,
maybe you give them the boost. Tottenham have perhaps played a little bit negatively against some of the bigger opponents this season.
are you calling us a bigger opponent?
No, a bigger opponent, Chelsea.
Thanks.
Against typical big, six. But Arsenal didn't particularly do too much. They had a lot of the ball, but no real quality, and I think things only got worse after Thomas Partey's injury as well,
Yeah,
which sort of
just
led to the second goal.
just come back from injury as well, and he kind of limped off in the build-up, weren't he? He was literally walking off as Tottenham was counter-attacking. The first goal was from a counter-attack. You know, Arsenal was in with a chance, and then they lost the ball, and Tottenham just like rampaged them. And then again for Harry Kane's goal as well, 46th minute, I think it was. Great counter attack. Son gets the ball at the edge of the Arsenal box, sees Kane running behind him, just slots it to him, and he smashes that ball into the roof of the net.
Yes, he does. In off the crossbar. And that was one of precision. If that hits the crossbar anywhere else, it's more than likely bouncing out. A tiny bit lower, it's perhaps bouncing on the line and going out. A bit higher, and it's cannon off the crossbar and leaving the area. So, absolute perfection. Like you say, clinical counter-attack as well.
Mm.
And, perhaps the issue for Arsenal was they just didn't get back quick enough. There wasn't really any desire. There was nobody sprinting to get back. And it left them 4-on-2.
So one thing that the critics was, when they was reviewing the game after the game and match of the day, is one thing that they saw was there was far too many players going up, and there was just a couple of moments where one extra defender went forward. And what they should have done, these defenders have got experience. They should have known that, hold on, there's that 6 players up front. Maybe I just need to just sit back a bit. And that's why Tottenham saw it so easy to counter attack. I'm not sure if that's something that Mourinho had noticed watching videos from previous weeks or not. That puts Kane as the highest North London derby goal scorer as well.
It does indeed. And it's not a bad way to score, is it? And some of his most memorable goals have come against Arsenal as well.
It's like every striker's got a team that they just love scoring against, and it makes it even bigger when it's the local rivals.
Yeah, definitely. Just a pretty poor game all around from Arsenal. And speaking on the defenders going forward, it just doesn't seem to be any leadership at all. You look at any other team that's up there, and you've got someone shouting at defenders, stay back, stay back. Midfielder, come back here, cover this space. And I mean, that's one thing that Bruno Fernandes has done fantastically since coming in at Manchester United.
Definitely, 100%.
One thing that Jordan Henderson probably doesn't get enough credit for at Liverpool, he's constantly barking orders. Even Thiago Silva now at Chelsea, he's brand new there, but he's happy to tell people exactly where to be. And there's just nobody at all that would do that for Arsenal. And I mean, the problems didn't stop there. They had chances, 2 pretty big chances for Lacazette with his head again not taken. Aubameyang had, all I can remember is one header that he went miles over. And I mean, he signed a new contract just before the season started, and he's done very little this year.
Yeah,
And it's almost like he's giving up.
I saw a stat about last week's game, Arsenal. Was that Watford that they played? Wolves? Might have been Wolves.
At Wolves last week, yes.
Don't know why I said Watford. And there was more passes to Leno from an Arsenal player than there was to Aubameyang. And that kind of says a lot. Aubameyang's the key player for Arsenal. He's the one that can. He's got the pace. He's got the skill. He's got the vision. And if he's not getting the ball, if he's not getting the passing, or if he's got to work hard or anything like that, that's probably what Arsenal's missing. And I've slagged him off, and he might not have made any difference. But has Arsenal made a mistake in not giving Ozil another chance?
Possibly.
Not even registering him for the Premier League. You look at Pepe, how much money they spent on him, and what's he done apart from that red card that he got last week?
He's done a lot in Europa League football, but
yeah. And obviously, you look at Partey as well, who I don't know much about. What I've seen him in, he seems like a decent player, but he missed the last couple of weeks due to injury. He come back and he limped off. Literally, as Tottenham was attacking, he limped off. And again, he could be out for another couple of weeks. Again, we've said this in multiple videos this week, that this isn't a time when you want injuries. And when your confidence is gone, not just per player, but as a whole team, this isn't what you want in at the moment. And Arsenal, I've never seen them this bad. I think this is the worst that they've been for a good few years, and a good few decades, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, they've got 8 games still in December as well. And if you're losing key players and just not performing well, you're in a lot of trouble. Some massive games as well. Fair enough, Europa League, they're already through. They can rest players against Dundalk. But you've got teams like Everton and Chelsea in the league. You've got Man City in the Carabao Cup. Brighton, who we've been so impressed with, Southampton. It's just, I can't see where their next result is coming from, to be honest with you. And like I say, they rely on Aubameyang. He's only scored 2 goals this season, one of them being a penalty. But he's also only assisted 1 goal.
Well, this is it. This is something that we've spoke about off camera as well. Is where's the goals coming from? They're not scoring many goals, but the goals that are coming from, there's no one there that's commanding that attack. There's no one commanding the team, but there's no one there that you can be confident is going to get a goal or get a couple of goals. Lacazette's not really turned up this season. Pepe's not really done much. Partey, he's done bits when he has been playing, but this Arsenal team's not looking very good at all. And we question about Chris Wilder, how long's he got left? But surely there's more pressure for Arsenal, who is used to being in regular European competitions, whether it's Champions League or Europa. 12, 15 years ago, they was winning titles and challenging for them regularly. Right now, They're 15th with 13 points. They're 3 positions off of relegation. Fair enough, it's 7 points off of the bottom 3. But in the last 6 games, they've won 1. They've lost 4. This is an awful Arsenal team right now.
I mean, would you believe it if I tell you that Lacazette is the highest goal scorer in the Premier League with 3 goals, and he
I was going to
hasn't
say
since the
it's.
third match? He scored 1 goal in the first 3 matches, and he's not scored since.
I was going to say it can't be more than 3.
He's the highest.
They've scored 10 goals in 11 games, and they've
Yeah,
conceded 14.
and 5 of them are Lacazette and Aubameyang, and neither of them have scored from open play since the 3rd game. So
I mean, this is a massive test. You know, he's not been in the manager seat at Arsenal for long. All the fans had heaped loads of praise on him. You know, he's been working under Pep Guardiola for the last few years, and you can see what Pep's done there. So they thought, you know what, he's learned a lot, and he can bring this to Arsenal, and he can make Arsenal great again. I get so much stick. I know quite a few Arsenal fans, and over the past 6 to 12 months, I've had so much shit from Arsenal fans that the beat us 1-0, and they was reacting as if they just won. Huh?
Aubameyang's last goal, by the way, from the penalty spot. He hasn't scored since then.
Arsenal fans were reacting when they beat us 1-0. They've been telling me that Man United's nothing. We're not even a big team anymore. Yet the way they reacted to beating us 1-0 to a penalty that I didn't even think was a penalty. Now look at them. Look where they are. And we might not be playing well, and we might not be a big team at the moment. But we're not in the bottom 5. Bottom 5. Bottom 6.
On the flip side, Tottenham are in a fantastic position at the moment. And obviously, Tottenham do have the history of bottling things and being Spursy. But then is that counteracted by Mourinho's second season syndrome, where he always seems to win a trophy in the second season? And this is his second full year.
Well, it can have FA Cup.
And, well, I mean, obviously, say top, and with Son and Kane in the form they're in at the moment, it's going to be tough for someone to take that top spot away from them, really.
It is, and this could be where, you know, they need to make sure that they don't have any injuries, because any injury to either one of them two or anybody else on that pitch could make a big difference. But yeah, Tottenham's riding high, you know. The top with 24 points. They're level on points with Liverpool, but they've got more goals, scored more goals, and no, sorry, they haven't scored more goals. They've scored 23 goals, but they've only conceded 9. So the defence is fantastic as well as scoring. Obviously, they scored quite a few goals against us, but we don't talk about that.
Yeah, one thing that I do want to mention about you saying about injuries, it's starting to get to time of year where Harry Kane does tend to pick up an injury. So they're going to have to wrap him in cotton wool these next couple of months.
It would be interesting to see how well they did if they only had Son or only had Kane, because you could tell, was it last year or the year before, when Son went away, he had to go to, he went to play in a tournament, didn't he?
Yeah, there was that weird rule that they had to win the tournament. If not, then he'd have to do 2 years of military service.
Yeah. But yeah, if you know, they didn't look like the same Tottenham that they did for all season when he went away, and then there was a few games that they missed with injury, with Harry Kane. You look at the year before as well, where Harry Kane kind of had an injury, and you know they got to Champions League final, and
they rushed him back, didn't they? They got to Champions League final because of Moura, and then dropped Moura for the final in terms of Kane, who clearly wasn't fit.
But no, right now there's so many positives that you can take if you're a Tottenham fan, and
Yeah, we said it a couple of weeks ago with Liverpool being top, but it might be early, but it's where you want to be, isn't it? You want to be top, so
yeah, I mean we've said from the likes of like Leicester City, who they're still there in fourth, but they've lost a couple of games. The earlier that you can get the most points, the better it helps you when you do get the odd loss later on in the season. So the riding eye, the keeping Liverpool on the toes. You know, last year it didn't really look like anybody was competing against them and didn't put pressure on Liverpool. This year you've got Chelsea who's only 2 points behind, and you've got Leicester who's only 3 points behind you, and Tottenham who's above you on level points. So could this be a season where we're actually seeing more than one, two teams competing for the Premier League, which we haven't had for quite a few years?
if we look at the league table as things stand, if Man United and Man City both win their games in hand, there's 3 points between the top six,
Hmm.
and that is going to be massive and just fantastic for football fans in general. Perhaps a bit tense for fans than teams as the season goes on. You're still in contention, but for a neutral fan, it's what you want to see, and as an English football fan, it's what you want to see because all it's going to do is help the Premier League and the teams involved. I mean, I personally feel for as a Liverpool fan that a couple of years ago going against City and coming up short helped them improve, and like I say, it's only going to help this top six, and in turn, that's only going to help England in terms of Champions League teams.
Yeah, if you have a look at the Champions League right now, we're recording this Monday 7th, and most teams are through to the next round. Man United's got a huge game tomorrow, but potentially we could have another All England final again in Champions League if the English teams continue as they're going.
Yeah, I mean, if we get lucky, we could be going back to mid 2000s where all four semi-finalists are English.
Yeah,
And
that'd be huge.
I mean, Liverpool, Chelsea met a lot in semi-finals, so you'd have that one, but then a Manchester derby on the other side if that's the case. And I mean, it'd be fantastic.
Or
Some of the best games you'd see in the Champions League.
or Man United Liverpool's always a big game as well. No matter on the form, you know, when Liverpool lost their form and they was always like finishing outside the Champions League. It doesn't matter, does it? When Man United play Liverpool, it's always a big game, no matter on any of the form.
And then on the flip side, you get the two oil-rich teams, City, Chelsea, playing each other.
Yeah,
But all Tottenham needs to do is just continue how they're playing at the moment, and they're going to be in a very good position.
yeah.
A month's time at least.
Also,
Like
they got Europa League as well.
Europa League, they're still in the Carabao Cup as well, so they're another team with a lot of games this month. Um, Already through in the Europa League, so again could potentially rest people. And not to take anything away from Stoke. Stoke are a tough team, but there's a lot harder teams Tottenham could be playing in the EFL Cup.
Yeah, definitely.
But their month is massive this month. They've got Liverpool, Leicester, and Wolves to play.
This is where they need to prove that.
Even sorry.
This is where they need to prove that they're not the bottle jobs that everyone thinks that they are. You know, how many people, if you're not a Tottenham fan, are gonna believe that they're gonna win it until the last day of the season when they actually win it, just because of how many times they've thrown it away?
I mean, how many Tottenham fans are going to believe that? Never mind non. So,
No, it's right now, as it stands, it's definitely looking very interesting going into the Christmas hectic period, and this next month could make or break so many teams and so many teams' chances in terms of finishing in the top four, top two, whatever. And then you've got the transfer window as well.
yep.
Whether there's going to be many players available. Not many teams want to lose big players in January. There's some teams that definitely need to be improving. So get through this Christmas period and bring a couple of players in, and that could change the entire season. Look at Fernandes when he come to us.
some teams starting to get fans back in, and what
Mm.
else is going on in the world, vaccines becoming available, teams might be open to spending even more money in January now because revenues can be coming back in soon from gate receipts and stuff like that. So January transfer window is probably going to be the biggest January transfer window in many, many years.
Thanks for watching our videos. Hope you've enjoyed them. Please subscribe if you want to watch the rest of our season, where we'll be bringing you all the matches, our predictions, and plenty of other things surrounded around football. Please follow us on our socials. They're all down below as well. We've got our own YouTube channels as well. Please go and check them out. Plenty of different kind of content across all them as well. I've been Elmo.
I've been Tuna.
Take care.